The wasteland of Fallout 76 is full of different weapons to use, and we all know SMGs in the Fallout universe are some of the most fun to use. Unfortunately, in Fallout 76, SMGs aren't exactly top tier. Still, a few unique SMGs rise above the rest. In the last video, we talked about what I and a lot of players think is the best SMG in the game. Now, in this video, we're diving into what I believe is the most underrated SMG in Fallout 76's history. This SMG was actually introduced pretty recently in the Skyline Valley update that dropped earlier in 2024. Yep, we're talking about the newly added Anchorage Ace SMG. Now, this gun is controversial. You either love it or you love to hate it, and if you haven't guessed it already, I'm a pretty big fan. Now, like we did in the last video, let's start with how you can get your hands on this gun before we jump into what makes it so special. Now, the Anchorage Ace was added in the Skyline Valley DLC, and there are two ways to get your hands on this gun. Unfortunately for those trying to get their hands on it, though, it's only available through either a nuke event, the neurological warfare. I do think it is the easiest nuke event, but the Anchorage Ace only has a 4.5% drop chance, so you'll be dropping quite a few nukes to snag this bad boy. No joke, it seriously took me like 2 weeks after the update came out to finally get it. It was pretty annoying. I fucking hated it. And then, like I said, since it's locked behind a nuke event, farming it can be a huge grind. And like I said, there are two ways to get it. This is the second way. Like most guns in Fallout 76, you could try your luck with player vendors, though good luck with that too, because it's pretty damn rare no matter how you're farming it. Honestly, I do get why people complain about this gun's drop rate and they say it's not worth it and everything. It definitely shouldn't be tied to a nuke event. It's an SMG. It's not like a fixer or anything like that. It's not a railway. It should not be tied to a nuke event. I completely understand that. But now that we know how to get it, either through neurological warfare, the newest nuke event in the Skyline Valley update, or player vendors, let's talk about what makes the Anchorage Ace so damn special. It's essentially a 10mm machine gun, but with a cool Anchorage skin. It comes with two of them, either the Arctic or just the plain one, I believe, and it comes loaded with 3 solid legendary effects that we're going to jump into right now. Our first legendary effect is the Executioner's legendary effect. This gives you a 50% damage boost when your target's health is below 40%. Now, it's not the best effect in the game. It's no bloodied, but you'll definitely feel it kick in, especially against high health enemies like a super mutant behemoth or a deathclaw or even super mutants like you'll see in the footage here or just throughout the entire video. At one point, I'll go up against a behemoth and you just see once he hits 40% health, it just starts to chunk away, and it definitely helps the DPS. Like I said, it's a nice little DPS when you need to finish off your enemies. So first star Executioner's not necessarily the best, but it comes in handy when you're going up against those tankier enemies. The first legendary effect on this gun isn't too impressive, although it definitely helps. The second star legendary effect is where things get really fun, and that is the VATS Enhanced legendary effect. This bumps up your hit chance in VATS by 50%, so you'll basically never miss. I mean, this thing is a sure hit in VATS. It's crazy accurate. For an SMG, this is a game changer. This gun was made for a VATS auto build, and with this effect, it feels like a laser beam. This Ace has a 30-round mag, and with this effect, I hit 98% of my VAT shots. It's super satisfying. This thing, like I said, is a laser beam. I think it's probably the most efficient weapon in VATS, of the most efficient unique weapon in VATS. And finally, onto the third star legendary effect, and it's just +3 agility. This is perfect for all you VATS auto build players out there. The Ace doesn't have a huge AP cost to begin with, but the agility boost definitely helps with the AP efficiency and makes it ideal for running through areas quickly like nuke sites. But seriously, this is a huge plus for VATS players. This is basically just an SMG made for them. But wait, there's one more thing that makes the Anchorage Ace super special. It comes with a little hidden bonus. It's suppressed, and I don't mean suppressed like like suppressed, I mean just fucking silent. You cannot hear this thing at all. Enemies will not become detected when using this thing if you're running through West Tech. It is silent. So you'll get all these stealth perks with this thing, which is a huge plus. On my stealth auto build, it is literally one of my daily drivers. Now, unlike the Elder's Mark, I do have some pretty bad news about this weapon, which kind of keeps it from surpassing the Elder's Mark. You can't re-roll the legendary effects. That means you are stuck with the base effects, and unfortunately, that means no optimizing it for bloodied builds. But even with the stock effects, it's still a fire weapon and a blast to use. But like I said, it just can't be optimized to fit your playstyle, unfortunately, like the Elder's Mark. And that's just I understand why a lot of people don't try this thing out, or why a lot of people may have tried this thing out and just put it down because it's not as good as the Elder's Mark one. The Elder's Mark is optimized for your playstyle because you can re-roll it, but this thing is really nice for stealth builds. It seriously is super smooth, and it feels like it is just made for it. Seriously, you will feel like a beast when using this thing properly. It is so nice and so fun to use. All right, let's move into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the testing and the performance of this weapon. And as you could see from the footage playing in the background of the video here, there are absolutely no surprises. The Anchorage Ace tears through basic mobs like Scourge, Ghouls, and Super Mutants without really breaking a sweat, just like the Elder's Mark. With its base 30 round mag and its standard mods, it keeps pace with the Elder's Mark in terms of handling most enemies. Sure, it's obviously not as strong as a bloodied optimized Elder's Mark, but it's still more than capable of going toe to toe with basic enemies. It really doesn't have a problem. Now, for the tougher enemies like Deathclaw, Behemoths, and Grafted Monsters, I mentioned this earlier, this SMG can hold its own. Obviously, it's not as strong as some other weapons, looking at you, Fixer, Railway, and then even the Elder's Mark, but it's by no means subpar. In fact, like I said earlier, the Executioner's effect really shines with these high health enemies. However, it can go through Deathclaws, Behemoths, and Grafted Monsters really without a problem, but when you're facing raid bosses like Earl or the Scorched Queen, the Anchorage Ace does get overshadowed by heavy hitters like the Railway or the Fixer, and obviously, why wouldn't it if the Elder Mark does? But it's still a super underrated gun that a lot of players seem to overlook, which blows my mind because if you could get your hands on it, it is a pain in the ass to get. It is super great, especially if you are a stealth player. So, overall, if you haven't had the pleasure of trying out the Anchorage Ace, I obviously definitely suggest you give it a shot. Yes, it is a bit pricey and ridiculously hard to get because of the 4.5% drop rate, unless you're lucky, but in my humble opinion, it's absolutely worth it, especially if you have a stealth build. You seriously will keep this on your weapon rotation. If you just normally use a fixer, this thing will be honestly maybe your daily driver over a fixer. It's just so good with the ammo economy, and it just blasts through basic mobs. I know SMGs in Fallout 76 generally suck, but this one, no, this one's different. I promise you. Not only is it a solid SMG, but in terms of weaponry, it is fucking amazing, and it's just plain fun to use. And obviously, let's not forget about the skin. It's a nice throwback to good old Fallout 3. The Anchorage Ace can handle most mobs and hold its own against tougher mobs sometimes because of the Executioner's legendary effect, which a lot of people don't like, but it obviously is okay, not the best. Is it the best gun in the game? Absolutely not, but it's a absolute blast to play with, so give it a go and let me know if it makes it into your weapon rotation. If you are a stealth autovats player, I definitely think it will. I, along with a lot of other players, have slept on this thing for a while, but it is so fun to use. I swear, it is amazing, especially if you love stealth builds like I do. And everyone in the Wasteland, that's a wrap on what I believe is the most underrated SMG in Fallout 76. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Anchorage Ace. Is it a top tier SMG? What's your favorite SMG in the game? And as always, I just want to thank you motherfuckers for watching this video, and I will see you all in the Wasteland. And if you haven't already, go check out part 1 to this short video series I did on the Elder's Mark, widely regarded as the best SMG in Fallout 76 for a reason, and obviously it is better than this SMG, but this is the most underrated in my opinion. If you want the best, go check out the other video. I promise you won't regret it. And as always, seriously, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Thank you all. Good luck in the wasteland.